Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode is another really good episode. We're going to talk about fan subtitling software. All right. Again, we've sort of touched on the topic about how we're doing fan subs and that kind of stuff, and how we actually get the titles and that kind of stuff on the screen, what kind of equipment we use, our hookup and our system requirements. But one of the main things is, what about the software? I mean, we're all using computers. How do we actually get these titles on the screen? So I think this is the episode we're going to go and cover that. So before we begin, I want to remind you to go down below, click like, click subscribe, anything you do will help us and that kind of thing, all right? And for those who like to support me financially, I do also have the super thanks button down below, as well as the links for the PayPal and the Patreon. Now, I've been building a lot to the Patreon recently. I've now put a lot of resources available to you people, as well as a lot of the content that is for the subscribers that I cannot put on YouTube, because there's now a lot of topics that I'm now covering which are not allowed to be put on the YouTube. So all those things are now available to the members there. As well as I've also now put the my audiobooks available as in audio form and on video form as well. Those are also partially free to the Patreon members, so do check that out. Okay, and so for all the other new users that are on this channel, I've also compiled all the episodes of the History of Fan Anime into a large database sheet. And if you like to basically look at different episodes that are pertaining to certain topics, like maybe CDs or maybe art books or maybe the fan culture itself, like conventions and that kind of stuff, they're all put together in a book-like fashion and they're put into the spreadsheet. Again, the link is below, as well as other resources like the database sheets for the My Anime list of the 1980s, and of course the top 30 animes of the 1980s is also all available in spreadsheet form there. Link is below. Also available now is my second ebook, Daughter, Mother, Friend, which is part of the Walters Chronicle, is now available as an audiobook, and I've got it right now on the Patreon shop, so that anyone who is one of the on any of the paid tiers at Patreon, you can go there and you can download it. It's actually free as part of your membership. Okay, so again, if you are planning to get that book, or you want to be a Patreon member, that book is now both Volume 1 and Volume 2 are now available for you free with your membership. So you can go over there. Link is below. The Patreon link is below, so you just go there and you can get those as well. So the audiobook and the video complement parts are available in the shop. So again, do have a look at that. That is now available this week. Okay, so in today's episode, we're going to talk about computer software. Now, of course, a lot of people, when they think, oh yeah, fan subbing software, yeah, we're just going to use something like, Jayco Sub or Alpha Substation or whatever, and we're just going to type in our things and put it into the program, and the program will do its thing. Okay, that's sort of what we have, our concept in our mind. But you have to realize that when you're coming to when I was doing fan subbing and that kind of stuff, and at the time that we were doing fan subbing, no one had any software. I mean, the software wasn't really built yet. And so how did we have to do it? How do you get this software? So I'm going to go through a bunch of things which document the timing of what kind of when software was and what kind of software was available, and sort of my experience in working with the software, because we've done over 1,000 episodes of anime and that kind of stuff. And obviously what we were using had to have worked. I mean, it was, maybe a little rough at the beginning, but once we've gone on and figured out the right system, the right, computer and the computer software, we were flowing along really, really well. And so, one of the things that, obviously if you try to Google it right now on the internet, nothing comes really up. Nothing really tells you the story. So this hopefully will put the clarity all in place. Okay, so without further delay, let's begin. Okay, so here's my reply to Clinton's letter. Okay, and the reason I'm just going to go over this is because I'm going to sort of outline
what I did and what I thought, because I said, the letter pretty much self-describes it, right? So I thank him for all the scripts that he sent me and whatnot. I took a look at his typing, uh, software, and I realized that there's a whole bunch of things that I tried to work on it, but it was really tough. So I decided to stick with the Panimator, okay, that I originally got. Okay, at this time, I've also has communicated with Robert at Ranma Project, okay, and he's gonna stop doing the fan subs for Maison Akaku, and he's gonna turn the entire project over to us. And so what he's gonna help us do, so at this particular time, since I didn't buy, so I didn't have the lasers for all of Maison Akaku at the time, right? What he's going to do is he's going to make SVHS masters of all his lasers, so all 24 lasers of Maison Kaku. He's going to make SVHS masters for them, and he's going to send them up to us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take them all, we're going to fan sub them all, and then I'm going to send them all back to him. Okay. I told him that it's going to take about a year to do the project. It ended up taking about like a year and a half, because Orange Road was 40 episodes. It took us about a year to do that, or so. I really went crazy, during December. So that I remember we were literally churning out almost an episode a day or two, okay, in December for Orange Road, which is just insanely fast, okay, because at this time, people, I know that there was another letter I was reading from Clinton that these guys were working on Legend of Galactic Heroes, and it took them like 2-3 months to do one episode. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, so we are like I said, outpacing everyone in terms of getting the amount of material out there. Yeah, sure. Well, it's not perfect. Again, we're working with beta software here, so I mean, we're not making multiple retries at trying to do these things. We just get the content out there, and then people can work on it from there, right? So yeah, so we got all that. So we got hooked up to do the Maison Kaku series, right? Um, in that period, we will be doing volumes 1 and 2 of the Galforce, Ariel, Bubble Crisis 7, Assemblers at 1, okay? Yeah, so it's like, there's just so much stuff that we were actually working on that no one was even, like, close to. The production speed that we were at was just, was just incredible. Okay, so he continues on and says he was thinking that maybe I should take a 2-month vacation, to do subtitles and that kind of stuff. And I told him, no, hardly. It's like November was hard since I was just getting used to this, these things, these stupidities of the Amiga, and my God, working out some of the bugs and that kind of stuff in Panimator, trying to get that all thing. But soon enough, I did accelerate. Like I said, had a full-time retail job, which again I was working at Radio Shack at that time. And then basically, as soon as I got home, had something to eat, clean up a little bit, and then basically hit the computer, keep working at the computer until midnight, maybe a little past midnight, and then it's sort of like, okay, yeah, just do an episode and just like and then go to sleep, and then wake up next morning and then go back to work, right? So yeah, so some days were like zombie days, but definitely that was my work schedule. So I say I averaged an episode a day roughly. So as I said, there's 48 episodes of Orange Road. I started in late that time, right? They seem to indicate November. Soon enough, I did do 12 episodes in November. Okay, so there's probably like 36 episodes of Orange Road or Maison Cocktail, or about Orange Road left. Okay, and so yeah, so throughout the month of the rest of the month of November into December, I literally did an episode a night or two, right? Yeah, towards the end of December was killer burnout days. So yeah, you think about what my schedule was, right? Like go to work, because most Radio Shacks will open like 9 o'clock or whatever, right? Do my job there, whatever. Come back, because they close at 6 or 5 or whatever it is, and then I would, have something to eat, clean up, and then basically work all night, on subtitling. Hopefully, try to record the episode around before midnight or whatever. Or if the Amiga crashes a couple times, then I'll have to restart it and do it all over again. And sometimes I'm up to like 3 a.m. in the morning, fighting in an episode, and then finally just say, okay, screw it, just this, no, this is good enough, all right, yeah, or whatever, right? Then I'll leave it because then get a couple hours of sleep and then back to work at 9, right? So yeah, let's see. He goes, on Christmas Day, we subtitled Pat Labor the movie and 2 episodes of Orange Road just in one day. Right, so instead of going to work on Christmas Day, that's how I spent Christmas. Fansubbing Orange Road for you guys. That's dedication for you guys. So I hope you're happy, right? Of course, no one was. They're the one that was complaining about, like, oh, the timing was a little bit off. The word is not spelt right. Oh, that's not grammatically correct. Oh my God. And I'm not trying to, babysit you through English class. Jeez. Let's see. Now you're asking, are we nuts? Yeah, probably. No, not really. We're just getting to know the language a bit better. Oh, hell with it. It's getting tough from now on to use all the stupidity of the Amiga. And I got it down to systems, and you can easily operate that between a translator and the monkey that can sit there and hit the mouse button or in this case, on the Amiga, it was the mouse button to control the timing. On the Mac, it's the space bar. But at this time, yeah, we're still on the Amiga, right? Okay, so I continue. Towards the end of the Orange Road set, there are very, very few errors per episode. So basically, what I'm saying here is that, at the beginning, when we first started doing Orange Road, first, let's say 12, 24 episodes or whatever, roughly, we were really struggling, Computer's always constantly crashing. We can't figure out what's going on. The time is going wacky. And there's a lot of times where it's just like, okay, this is like the 6th time we've had to restart this stupid thing. I'm just gonna okay, if it close enough, we're gonna just let it go, right? I'm just not gonna worry about being just that so accurate, or there's a spelling mistake there, or oh wait a minute, that's grammatically incorrect, or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna try to baby you guys through English, okay? This is the going back to those Chinese movies. There's like horrible dialogue, like you killed my brother, I kill you, and stupid you're already dead, my wa shinduru type of dialogue. It's just like, okay, come on, just like forget it. Let's we'll just watch the anime. This is good enough. Let it go, right? And that's sort of the attitude when we first started, right? And then when we got to the sort of the last sort of part, we've already sort of figured out, okay, don't make your lines so long. Try to format it only 2 or 3 lines at most. Break the dialogue up and all this other stuff. We're starting to learn how to to use this program and to make it work for us, rather than trying to fight it and trying to figure out why the system's crashing, why the clock's getting overloaded, and all this other stuff. Because the Amiga isn't it's literally a toy. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. And so we just got to work with it and get it going. So this is why I really had the forethought to go, okay, I can't stick with using this software in the way it is. There's no path to improvement here, right? Sure, it's working, but we're kind of piecemealing this stuff together. Everything's in very, very beta kind of state. Development. If you're going to develop something, why develop a dead horse when you can really actually put all your weight towards something that has upward mobility and upward upgrade? Because obviously Amiga isn't doing many more stuff, right? The Commodore series of computers is going like nowhere, where things like the PC, the PC IBM, computers and that kind of stuff are taking off. Macs are really taking off, especially in the educational areas and that kind of stuff. They're really going. So, processing speed, capabilities and graphics and all that stuff all look way nicer on Macs now, right? So I'm looking for an exit, right? So even at this point, when I just finished Orange Road and working on Maison Akaku, I knew that, okay, this is a good time to try to figure out if we can find a new way to do things, right? So anyway, I continue and say, towards the end of the Orange Road set, there was very, very few errors per episode. On average, I just had to fix 1 or 2 lines, 3 lines. Other than that, it was not the translation of the script and that stuff more so. It's the freaking computer, right? It is still a horrible thing to configure and set up. Anyway, to the point where, hey, as long as it works, it's working. Just leave it alone. It's working, right? Anyway, so I just comment that I hope to see him down at the San Diego Comic Con. So that's just when I went down to Comic Con / it was at that time. It wasn't Anime Expo yet. It was because they were still doing the conversion for that. It was Anime America still, right? At this time, and that's when I went down and was talking to him. That is the origin of that picture where me, Clinton Barty, Rob Gutierrez of Random Project, and Robert Woodhead. The biggest fan subber / fan fan community doing translations and subtitling and that kind of stuff were there together. We had a big our sort of conversation. We're talking about what we're doing, processes that of how the actual subtitling worked and that kind of stuff. It was a very, very influential meeting. So it's a huge contrast between those Digi fan subbers and the guys at US Manga. Instead of being disrespectful and all high-headed about doing fan subbing and that stuff, we didn't want to have a toxic relationship like that. Like I said, we want a collaborative effort to promote this anime to fans. It's not about us, and that's what that's one of the things that really changed when digital fan subbing came. It all became ego. It all became about me and us and what can we do, and the anime becomes the median, but the the showcase is about the fan subbing groups and how much crap they can put onto the fan subs and that kind of stuff, and just it starts becoming not about the anime anymore. It's about the me movement, right? The self promotion, the egotistical upgrade, and that's what really killed it for digital fan subbing, and probably added to the toxicity of the fandom at that time, right? Because I said we're getting away from the anime, and the actual the work as of the anime. It's starting to become more about the people and the characters and the fan subbing group. It's not that's self promotion, that kind of stuff. That's what it's starting to become, not about story, character line, plots, and that kind of stuff, right? So. That's one sort of change that we have here. I had good relationships with Robert Woodhead. We're not at each other's throat. He's not trying to sue me or whatever. Throwing me stop and desist letters. That's not what it was. It was a clean understanding that hey, we're out here to to promote anime to the fans. He's trying to do it the legitimate way and trying to get it on the shelves at Walmart and Suncoast Video, and he's trying to get it into the stores like Barnes and Noble and all that stuff. That's what he's trying to do, and that's a good thing, okay. And so I'm gonna let him do that, let him do the process, and that. I've got tons of anime to go with. I don't have to pick the same titles that he does, right? Obviously, and now I was close enough to understand that concept where these new guys, digital fans, they just do whatever they want and think that everything's gonna be okay, and they rule the world and the world revolves around them. That's just not the way it is, and that's that's sort of one change. But again, that's another episode.
So I hope you found that really interesting, as I said, because I realized this was a topic that not very many people seem to know about, and not too many people actually has the correct sort of sequence of events that happened, right, and the angle that it happened, to the industry. So again, I'm glad to put at least my input into it. So again, maybe some people over at JACO Sub, the Japanese Animation Club of Orlando, maybe they can, talk to how they made, JACO Sub and when all those things sort of came to about. It'd be probably very interesting to see how that works. But again, this is what I've, from my story and sort of how, the industry shaped up and how things sort of fell into place, with the way that, we did it here. So again, hopefully this will clear up and basically give you a better idea of what the anime community was really like. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do, with this channel and with this, with these videos, is basically give you a clearer picture by giving you different videos and that kind of stuff, accenting different situations that we had to go through and different things that we've encountered, in this industry when things just weren't available. Okay, so this really hopefully paints a better picture for you. All right, and we'll continue to do more of that, I'm sure. So until next time, I will see you again.